Hey guys, Chuck here, back in Dawn of Man. It's been a few days since I ventured into this one. I've got so many going on here, but anyway, here we are, a really overloaded workforce because it is fall and they're harvesting. So I fear, and I keep this in mind for your own playthroughs, that I might have built too many fields too fast. And because the people are really kind of worked like crazy right now. I probably should have, stuck with a couple fields until the population got higher. But I was really concerned with food stocks. But see, I got a lot of sad faces running around here. So this guy has an adult male goat, and I have to even look at what we have. We have an adult female and an adult male already. So do we really need to trade for another goat? I don't really think so. Um, and we've also have one adult male pig. Now, if this trader had a, no, so we're good. We're good. We don't need to trade for any of this stuff. But just keep in mind that, you can't, you want to expand things fast enough, but you don't want to go too fast, or you can have issues like I'm having right here that I don't even know if we're going to get everything harvested. So come winter, I might ditch some of these extra fields. So, because now it's winter, you notice our workload is now down to a manageable level. But it was pretty darn high there for a while. With that said, it still says we're low on food. So we're going to experiment with, can I... I'm not. Can I do that and just remove that? Yeah, you can take your mouse, drag over that, and hit remove, and you can remove a field. So we're going to experiment with removing, and not removing the person, just the... We're going to remove those fields until we get more population. And we're going to keep these fields because I'm thinking that, we're still going to need to try to get more food. So some of that might involve, we have one person here fishing. Let's put 3 people at that fishing area. And let's hunt some boars. And I'm looking for some bigger prey. Some of the more aggressive creatures that aren't likely to run away when you come shooting at them. And that oryx, we can hunt that. And let's maybe hunt an ibex. Now I need to look at, and of course I need to go into this. All right, that's just our limits. We really need to see, how many critters we have. Let's see. Stats, yeah, that's good. All right, we have 15 animals. We have 5 goats, 5 dogs, no cattle, no donkeys yet, 3 sheep, and 2 pigs. All right, so that's going to be, as we move forward, let's come out of this mode here. Transitioning from the hunter-gatherer thing into a more agriculture-based economy. New techs can be unlocked. Let's look for a new tech. So we've got underground mining we can unlock. We've got fortifications, weaving, which would give us a little more, which will kind of open a door to unlock other items. Pulse domestication, which gives us more stuff we can plant. But I'm going to wait till we get the population higher. A megalith, you got to send people out to roll those things in. So that's not as urgent as either mining or fortifications. So let's do well, let's unlock fortifications for now. So we don't have to start building them yet, because we want this, we need to get some food. And right now it's springtime, so people are going to be planting. So we don't want to do any other projects right now. And it looks like that critter got away from us, which is kind of annoying. That's why I wanted to hunt that one. Because usually the more aggressive animals don't try to run from you. And you can generally get them hunted, which we need. Goat has been slaughtered by 2. All right. There's where these limits come into play. And we have limits on the livestock numbers. So when we get, animals above that number, they're going to be slaughtered. Now, when we get animals reproducing faster, of course, that's going to, we're going to get more and more meat without having to hunt for it. So right now, and our goal is, we just got these 2 fields. We left one here. I meant to remove that one as well. I don't want anything over here. I just want those 2 fields over there. Now, you can see that dropped our workload down a bit. Also, we've got some reindeer and some boar traveling through. So let's try to hunt a couple of those. Now, this is a lot more manageable. But we are getting low on food, and somebody kicked the bucket. So that is not good. We're trying to balance this out, and then we have a new person was born. But I think by not having, by balancing our workload, we can get to a good level here. So things aren't so overwhelming. Like basically what we're having happen, we had all those other fields. So come spring, when we got planting, and then in the fall for harvesting, we weren't even getting everything done. We're getting all the fields planted. Now, I think, let's try. I'm looking for some young cows. I don't know. No, we don't have those cattle domestication unlocked yet. So let's try to domesticate a couple more pigs. If you look at that, where was one of the cows, the oryx? The little lasso symbol was kind of grayed out, which means we don't have that tech unlocked yet. So we're gonna assign a few hunts here, and hopefully A couple of them have come back successful. And we need to check, you know, when you have these fishing areas, like sometimes they get kind of fished out. And so you can look at those levels of fish in that area. And the same with here, especially if we had 2 new pigs born and the oryx got away. Let's see what we have here. See, that's grayed out. We don't have cattle domestication unlocked yet. So we're going to hunt that one. Hopefully our people can get it. We got a little food on the drying racks. That's good. And let's see. We have hit summer now. We got these fields both fully planted. So now come fall, we should get them both harvested fully without having to worry about workload. We got cheese from the goats. Have no flint. All right, we need to find a flint mine, but also I think we need to hunt a couple of these bison. If you notice the young ones, you can't domesticate the bison, so not worried about that. We can just try to hunt 2 or 3 of them. And maybe we'll manage a couple. Now let's find a flint deposit. We need to... That one's been exhausted. That's been exhausted. When we get to the next era, we start mining copper and tin. Then we won't worry about it. Let's place a work area. Dummy. Obtain flint. Put it right there. All right, that should get us. Take a little while to exhaust that. We unlocked the deep mining, which maybe we're going to get that fairly soon. Also, we unlocked fortifications, but we haven't started building them yet. But defensive. So you've got walls, you got a palisade, a gate, a wooden platform, and a watchtower. You need all of that. Eventually we'll have stone walls. So I'm thinking that we're going to wall in like a certain amount of the village and then probably have fields outside the walls and have gates. Now we're kind of in a weird position here. And we probably could have picked a better starting point for the settlement. Because we're going to be a bit, well, we got plenty of land over here. So probably we're going to end up with a lot of the town over here on that side of the river. And we can wall that in a little better. And maybe over here, as we transition, we might make this more growing area, you know, or a little bit of both. But we'll have to put maybe, you know, walls around this way. Coming over here. I don't know if you can do walls across the water or not. But the water might be a natural boundary anyway. So we're going to have a little bit of a challenge when it comes to building fortifications. We'll have to really be somewhat strategic about that. Because those raider attacks are going to get bigger and bigger, and they're more organized at a certain point. You got larger... Alright, I think we could get rid of that work area. And we can change it. We want here. No, it's C. It's Z or C, as it says there, to change the size of the work area. So I make it large. I put a couple more people there. We want to get all these trees cleared because we're going to want all the flat land we can get. Disease is affecting our crops. That's not good. Because we're going to have, now you'll see this is going to get quite large, but I think we're going to have to use more of this area for building, and we'll have to, maybe before spring, we will move. So that's emmer and eichhorn. I think after this harvest is done, we might completely remove these fields from here and put them over here and have our whole agricultural area be on one side of the river, and have this, because we're going to need to build a lot more houses and more animal buildings, stables and whatnot. So you have to really think ahead, you know, as you grow. And we can keep building houses all the way up here too. But then when you want to wall in the compound, it gets a little tricky depending on the terrain. But you can also use some of these mountains as natural barriers. And if you'll notice, we'll notice patterns when the raiders come, that they won't come like over some of these. So you can put like walls between a couple mountains, and then the raiders aren't going to come over the mountain. So the mountain will kind of supply part of your boundary. Now, speaking of that, there's a raider attack. Now, it's just one dude. Well, let's watch and see what he does. You'll want to pay attention to their patterns to see where, you know, how are they going to cross the river? Are they going to wade through the water like our guy over here is doing? Like our two guys are swimming. But are the raiders going to swim, or are they going to go for the bridge? Now we can do an alert here. If you hit F6, you pull up this panel here. Now we put an alert, and that alerts everyone with a weapon to come and take out the raider. And they did that. So now we can go no alert. Now when we have fortifications built, you can open or close the gates as well. So when you have raiders coming, you can hit that to close the gates. You can put everybody on alert, and you're going to want to have these watchtowers built, and you can have platforms built along the walls where people will go up there and then shoot arrows. So we have a trader. Now this trader has some sheep. It has a male sheep and a female sheep. What do we have down here? Well, you know, I don't want to trade any of our animals. Would be nice to get a couple more sheep since we're still low on food. So let's see about a couple sheep is going to cost us 100. Now, bone is worth 2 each, so that gave us 40 right there. We don't want to trade the wool. We don't want to trade away any food. So we got a bone spear. Since we're using flint And a bone harpoon, probably want to keep that. I don't know if we want to trade too much of what we have. So we might not get these animals. Let me see. We got a lot of wood, a lot of logs. So I think we're going to be able to do that. Although, pretty soon we're going to want to use the logs to build our fortifications. Now the only trick to that, when we start building those, is that's a bit of a workload. So you want to build sections of wall at different times of the year. Now we are in fall. Now fall is going to be done. People are going to be done harvesting. Let's speed things up a little bit. Even though it's harvest time, our workload is still under 100. That's where we want, ideally, to keep it. We got a couple new humans. So now you notice we need to build a house. We should have probably been up on that beforehand. We want a hut. And we build that down in this area. We also need another stable. So let's put another stable down right there on top of that dog. Move it, dog. All right, now we had an emmer and acorn fields here. We're going to remove these. Completely remove these. And we're going to redo them. And I want this game speed slowed down while I'm doing this stuff. We probably want to go ahead and hunt that boar since he's there. And we're going to put fields. We got 3 grains we can grow, so let's grow that. So there's little... No, we can't get rid of that tree. So, no, I don't want a work area. I'm clicking the wrong things here. All right, let's do that field. And let's do another field next to it. And do we dare do a third field, or is that going to give us too much workload? I feel like we can try a barley field. Come springtime, we got 3 fields planted over here. We've got some new tech we can unlock. So let's get, okay, weaving will give us an outfitter, a banner, netting, wool cloth, linen cloth. Netting will, I think we can use that to fish more efficiently, maybe. This will give us more things we can plant. And we can do these different mines once we unlock that. So we need to unlock all these to get to the Copper Age. So we might as well just take them in... I'm going to do the pulse domestication next, and then we'll, you know... Although we're not going to plant them yet. I probably could have unlocked that. Maybe I will do that. Maybe we'll get rid of that field. And maybe we'll do some lentils or some chickpeas. Or what's this over here? Just regular peas. Get rid of that. Let's plant some, no, Come on. I keep clicking the wrong things. There we go. If you hit these on terrain features, it kind of... Alright, it's winter. So we got an 80% workload, though. That's a pretty high workload for winter. Now, we did lay down some new buildings. I think we just got that. Yeah, have we built a new house? Yes, we have. All right. They got the house built. We're low on knives. All right, let's, all right. This crafter is making bifaces, which there's no need to make a biface if we're already I want to remove that. Can we just turn that off completely? Yeah, just right click. So we want to make knives, sickles for harvesting, and clothes. Can't believe we still had that guy making bifaces. Well, this guy's making... Yeah, I probably need to have this guy making flint knives instead of bone knives. All right, let's do that. We slaughtered 2 pigs. And some people don't have warm clothing. We need to get... here's another crafter over here. We've slaughtered... No, somebody died of old age. At least it was old age and not some other... Well, we got people making clothing. Now, when we get some of the other items unlocked to plant, we'll start to put crafters that can make like wool and linen and all sorts of different things like that. Low on harvesting tools. All right. Maybe we need to specialize these crafters. So this guy's not making any sickles. He needs to make sickles. This guy over here is only making knives and bows, which is fine. Now, how about this dude here? He needs to also make sickles. So we're still making stuff from flint. Now, let's check the trader. And what do we got? Another sheep. I think we're okay on sheep. We're not going to buy anything from that person. Now let's check the status of these fields. While the peas are growing, did the other ones actually get planted yet? Or maybe the peas, I think the peas might be a winter crop possibly. There are some crops that they plant at different times. So you can kind of stagger those out so that you're not having a massive amount of planting or harvesting all at one time. Now, we haven't gotten the low on food message in a while, but we are low on harvesting tools. Now, I just requested these crafter guys to make more of that sort of thing. I'm trying to click that animal. Wild horse. Let's hunt some critters. Maybe we need another one of these crafters. So let's look at production. All right. We get thatching and copper smelting. We get a workshop, and then you can get armors, and you can start making some more high-tech items. Right now, we're still Wait a minute, the crafter's not under that, is he? Crafter, right there. We just moused right over it. And let's put another one down there. When he gets built, we'll decide what we want him to do. I'm gonna have to like put a different specialty on each one of them. Like have one guy just making knives, another guy just making sickles. So this guy here is just making knives and bows and clothing. Now let's put this one here. He needs to make sickles, maybe picks, axes, and spears, and bows and clothing. So he's working like a dog. Now, maybe we'll get this guy not making as many different things. Low on harvesting tools, and we have no flint. Did this flint area get exhausted? The one that we had set up. It looks like it did. So that was awfully fast. There's a megalith, but we haven't unlocked that yet. Now, I'm trying to click that flint, and it's got me clicking on a tree. That's exhausted. That one's exhausted. So, we've kind of set things up to be the more, I think, the way we're going to want to organize things. We have to decide, are we going to wall in the agricultural area or not? Well, it depends on how much wood we have and how much time we want to spend building fortifications. Because you can wall in a crazy huge amount. I've got a playthrough from a few years ago where I had an enormous wall. So that's kind of where we are now. We're, I think, somewhat stabilized. We got our crops in one area. We got area here to grow, where we're going to be able to build a lot more production type buildings and houses and stables and all that good stuff. And say hello to my cat who just walked across in front of the camera. If he got caught on that, you probably saw him. He's interested in what's going on. So anyway, we're going to call it right there. And when we come back, we're, I think, going to be, well, let's go ahead and unlock this tech. We, flax domestication, which is going to allow us to make different types of clothing. So let's go ahead and unlock that. Now it is fall. We're not going to plant flax until the following spring. But let's check our milestone Neo Farmer. Okay, we are moving along. Another milestone unlocked. So that would be a good place to adjourn for now. Anyway, if you have enjoyed this video or found it at all helpful or enlightening, please like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one.